Are you helping your child grow resilient, or are you accidentally hovering too much? You may have heard of the helicopter parent. If you haven't, or just so that we can have a standard definition of a helicopter parent, it is someone who is always hovering over their child. These are the parents who their child is constantly texting them throughout the school day, letting them know any sort of mild discomfort that they've faced, and that parent is calling the school and saying that the school is wrong in causing their child to go through this discomfort. It is the parent who is always stepping in and doing things for their child, even the things that their child can do for themselves. They are just doing it for them. And it's the parent who in the end is so stressed out because they have taken on the responsibility of doing everything for their child, managing every difficulty, managing every discomfort for their child. And that is much too much stress for any person. So let me share some actionable ways that you can actually back off the hover and allow kids to struggle a bit and really build some of that resilience. The first one is to let kids take small, age and developmentally appropriate risks. That could be something like climbing a jungle gym on the playground, and they're climbing up, and maybe you are worried that they're going to fall, and guess what? They might. Or maybe it's allowing them to, yes, climb that tree. Or maybe it's, yes, allowing them to go sledding in a few weeks when the snow has covered the ground and it's going to make them go fast. But you can see there's no real major dangers around. It's going to be scary, and there are chances that they could get scuffed up or bruised or whatever it might be. And yes, there's the possibility that they could break their wrist or their arm, or forbid it, but break their leg. There are those possibilities, but if you prevent a child from ever taking any risk that could lead to anything, you are just going to wrap them in bubble wrap and keep them in bed all of the time. And then guess what? Their skin is going to start to shrivel up because they're in that bubble wrap. And then they're going to get bed sores because they've been laying all the time. There is nothing in this world that is 100% safe all of the time. Let kids take small, developmentally and age-appropriate risks. And if you'll do that, it can build some of that resilience, that when they fall off, or when they get scuffed up, or when they get a broken bone. And no, we don't want kids to get broken bones, but sometimes they do. And we want them to know that even when those things happen, they can bounce back and they can keep going. You can also encourage them to solve their own problems. If they come to you and they say, tell me what to do here, or how should I do this, or what do I do? You can look back at them and you can say, how do you think you could fix that? What do you think you should do? They come to you and they say, so-and-so has done this thing. Maybe it's a sibling. So-and-so just told me that I don't get a turn on the TV, that I don't get to pick the next show. Can you go tell them to give me the remote? Whatever it might be. You look at them and you say, well, what do you think you could do? And they'll come up with some options. Some might be great options, and some might be options that you really hope they don't follow through on. But encourage them to solve their developmentally appropriate problems. Maybe they are they don't have a supply that they need for something that they're wanting to do, and they come to you and they say, we need to go to the store to get X, Y, or Z. And you can look back at them and you can say, maybe you could find something else that could work just as well. And it causes their brain to develop some flexible problem-solving skills that maybe they didn't need an exact popsicle stick for their thing. Maybe they really could just go grab a stick from the backyard and use that in whatever way that they are needing their quote-unquote popsicle stick for. You can encourage those problem-solving skills. And you can provide emotional support by validating their feelings while encouraging them to try again. A counterpart to that helicopter parent is a safety net parent. So a helicopter parent prevents the child from falling. A safety net parent is there when the child does fall. And this really comes in when it comes to emotions and this emotional support. Validating feelings instead of trying to fix emotions, and encouraging kids to try again rather than preventing them from ever having to try in the first place or by doing it for them just because it became uncomfortable. That emotional support, that emotional safety net is a really important thing for parents to be, rather than just preventing the fall, being there when they fall. And I want to talk really quick about the danger of trying to fix emotions or fix problems for kids. When parents and teachers or other caregivers rush in to fix emotions and say things like, don't cry, and not in a mean way, not in a don't you dare cry, or big boys or big girls don't cry, not in that way, but in a, oh, don't cry, oh, don't cry. You're rushing in and trying to fix it. Or in a, it's okay, don't be sad, or, oh, it's okay, don't be scared. What happens is kids internalize that emotions are something to avoid or something to fix. And that can add stress, because then kids start to think that feeling sad or angry or frustrated is wrong. And you can see how emotions are not something we can't just say, oh, I'm going to feel this way. Emotions come and go, and we don't always get to choose how our emotions are, that they just come on in different ways. So if you are telling or sending a message to a child that a certain emotion is wrong, then when they feel that emotion, they're going to panic, because they're going to think, this one is one that I need somebody to fix for me. I've got to take care of this. This one has to go away. And emotions are not something to fix. And no emotion is wrong to feel. It's about building tolerance and regulation of those emotions. And the way to do that isn't by rushing in and trying to fix the emotion. That adds stress. Instead, allow kids to sit with their emotions and validate them. You can look at them and you can say, I see you're upset. It's okay to feel that way. When I was a young child, and a little older too, I would go to my mom and I would say, I am just so bored. Or I'd go to my dad and I'd say, I am just so bored. And their response back to me was, it's okay to feel bored sometimes. It wasn't, oh, okay, let's sit down and come up with a list of things to do. Oh, I don't want you to ever feel bored. Let's make sure that we have this list. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, well, let's do something else. You don't like any of these things? Let's go buy something then, because I can't. Oh, you feeling bored is just the worst. Nope. They looked at me and they would say, it's okay to feel bored sometimes. Oh, you're bored? It's okay to feel bored. And what that does is it shows kids these are not things to panic about. They're not things to fix. And it doesn't have to cause all of this major stress. You can sit with it. And as you learn to sit with it, you learn to tolerate it, because you understand that what you thought was this huge deal isn't as big of a deal. And you learn to regulate it, because if you are forced to deal with it, you will find a way to deal with it. In that same way, letting kids handle age-appropriate problems, or allowing kids to face age-appropriate risks without interference, teaches them that they are capable. When you rush in and you fix it for them, you are sending the message not only that this is something that needs to be fixed, but also you are sending the message you are not the one who is able to fix it. Self-regulation is the ability to tolerate and deal with your emotions and your impulses on your own. And so when kids constantly are having this message sent to them that other people need to be the ones to step in and do it for them, No wonder kids these days are having quite a bit of difficulty with some of those self-regulation skills. Show them they're capable. Allow them to build that confidence. Allow them to build resilience. Back off the hover, become the safety net. Let them take age-appropriate risks. Let them solve some problems on their own, and let them learn to sit with those emotions. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips on building resilience in kids without hovering.